Hello and welcome to Peggy's Tropical Garden, coming to you from the Florida Keys. I noticed that my tiny dancer hasn't been doing so well lately, so I decided to take it out of the pot and see what was going on. Normally I repot my plants as soon as I get them, but I didn't do it this time and I regret it. I didn't start recording right away, but decided you might be interested. I've already removed the healthy parts of the plant from the rhizome, and this is what's left. The rhizome is very rotten, as you can see here. I don't see any evidence of pest or anything like that, so I don't know exactly what happened. Here's where I cut away the healthy parts. This is the only section of the plant that looks like I won't be able to save. As you can see, it's rotted at the stem. So the first thing I did was rinse off the plant. This is one I've already done, as you see, and I washed out the pot with soapy water. Then I took the parts of the plant that looked healthy and I sprayed them down to make sure that there was nothing on the plant, as well as to remove all soil from the roots. Fortunately, these plants appear to be very healthy. The roots look excellent. And after I get them all cleaned up, make sure that I've washed all the soil off and make sure I also wash the foliage to make sure that there's no pest on there, because I'm still not really sure what went on with these plants. But then I will check them over, make sure that there's absolutely no soft spots on the bottom of these plants so that I can pot them up. So far, I'm very pleased. Back over here, I'm trying to see what I can use over here. Hopefully I can still do something with this rhizome. I have to first figure out just how deep the rot is. Is it rotten most of the way? Is there anything left that's healthy? So I'm going to hose this down, clean it up, see if I can get any loose debris removed, and see exactly how far the rot goes to see if I have any healthy tissue left on this rhizome. Hopefully there'll be something that I can salvage. Now there appears to be quite a bit of healthy tissue here, so the rot isn't through and through, but I'll have to check it out a little further. But so far it looks kind of promising. I forgot to start the camera, and so what I did was just cut off this portion with most of the rot, and this section looks good, and I'm cut it off. I'm going to dry that side out. The sides don't appear to be mushy or anything like that. So yeah, I see no softness anywhere else on this rhizome. So I'm going to let this part callus over, and hopefully, I'll be able to plant that up and get another plant going. I'll just toss this other part. Yeah, and I just kept trimming it back until I got to a part where I felt like I had all healthy tissue. So here it is. Here's what it's looking like, all cleaned up. And again, I'm just going to set it aside, let it callus over, and yeah, just making sure that there are absolutely no mushy spots anywhere on this rhizome. So I think we're going to have some luck. I'm just going to leave it sitting right here, not in the sun or anything like that, just over here to callus over. Now on to the plants. As you can see, they have amazing looking roots, so I'm very happy about that. But the way I started thinking something was wrong, as you can see, some of the leaves started just browning and dying off. So I'm going to remove anything that is not live, because I don't want it to start decaying on the plant or anything like that, or the plant to be trying to put some energy into those parts that are obviously not going to make it. So I'm going to trim all of those off, and with being careful not to cut into the plant at all. You don't want any open wounds on the plant, because again, that can introduce rot and disease. And then I'm checking the bottom just to make sure that there's no soft spots there, no indication of beginning of rot or anything like that. So looking pretty good. I'm happy. So I think these will do fine. Now, I'm going to go on and pot this up. I don't really have the soil mix that I would like to be using. I need much more perlite, and I have ordered some from Amazon. I'm waiting for that to come in, but I don't want to leave these plants unpotted until then. So I'm going to go ahead and pot them up. And when I get my perlite in, I'm going to mix up some lighter soil and then I'll repot again. But I really, even though I don't really want to disturb these roots any more than necessary, I really don't want to run the risk of them drying out and dying off, because that would be a whole new problem. Then I'd have to, go through rooting the plant. Now, I've always been someone who repots my plants when I bring them home, as I mentioned before, so that I can check the soil and make sure it's healthy soil, so that I can check the roots and make sure that they are viable and healthy. So I've always done that, but then I've been recently hearing so much about not repotting the plant, not disturbing the roots. So I decided to try that method, and I don't know why I decided to try it on this plant, but I really regret it. I mean, I had a system that worked for me, and I should have stuck with it. It's like, sometimes we go against our better judgment. We have something that works for us, and we start hearing other things, so we start trying other things, and what works for one person may not work for the other. And I think I'm definitely going to continue to repot my plants. Here's this one all ready to go. I will continue to repot my plants when I get them, and I do that year round. So that will be what I continue to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I feel like as a person, in order to grow and learn new things, I have to try new things. So I'm not opposed to that at all. If I had some things to do over, I would definitely not have tried this with this particular plant, because this is the first time I've been able to get my hands on this plant, and it's one that I've wanted for quite some time and would have some difficulty replacing. So, and I do have some other plants that I have decided to not repot. And I'm not saying that they've all gone bad, but I do think I will go back to repotting all of my plants, for the simple fact that I like checking the soil to make sure that there's no pest in there. And also, we don't know how long that plant has been in that soil. It could be totally depleted of nutrients. Also, I like to be able to check my roots and see that they are healthy and see what kind of condition they are. So if they're not that healthy, I can go ahead and put them in water or do whatever I need to do to help them continue to thrive, rather than waiting for them to start declining before I know something is wrong. Okay, so I have finished removing any dead leaves from this plant and checking the roots. Everything looks good. I'm going to go on and pot this one up also. I have another one. So I was able to salvage most of this plant, so I'm very happy about that. But it's just one of those things. You have to know what's going on with your plant. You have to take a look at them periodically if you want to be able to hopefully save them if there is a problem, or even to recognize that something is different with the plant. Now I'm going to pot up all of these divisions from the plant. And then I'm really excited also about the rhizome. Just because I've never grown a plant from rhizome before, and I think it'll be interesting to see how long it takes to sprout, if it sprouts, if it survives, because again, it's always nice learning more about your plants. I've heard that these are supposed to be rather finicky plants, and so far I've really had no problem other than this rot. And eventually my goal is to be able to plant it outside in the yard, by a tree. I know they can do some full sun, But they also will do well in part sun. So I think I'm going to try and plant it somewhere in part sun and hope that it thrives. I also hope that not Codex, but the Rhizome really puts out a nice plant. So we will see, and I will keep you posted. Here's what these are looking like. I have one more to go. I'm not going to make you all sit through all of that or even recommend that you sit through all that. But thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day. Stay well. Bye bye.